Wye Valley in the county of Hereford has the reputation of being the loveliest valley in England and Wales. With more than 4/5 of the total area under cultivation, Herefordshire is one of our richest agricultural counties. The fertile red soil is famed for its pear and apple orchards. Hops are another produce. Almost 2/3 of Herefordshire is in permanent pasture. Pastures for cattle to feed on and grow strong. Pastures which provide heavy, luxuriant grasses for over half the year. Our climate, our soil, and above all our love of good animals and skill in their management have been contributing factors in establishing the British pedigree Hereford in countries throughout the world. Hereford Cathedral, with its square Norman tower, has a warm beauty of its own that is in harmony with the rolling hills, the green pastures and the woods that typify the county of Herefordshire. Before the dawn of English history, Hereford itself was probably a collection of mud and wattle huts on the riverside. But now it's a busy and comfortable cathedral town with wide streets and modern buildings. Here and there in the precincts of the cathedral and in some of the old narrow streets, there is a fragment of the town's past history. The old house, at one time the hall of the Butcher's Company, stands as a landmark almost in the center of the town, St. Peter's Street. The town has many other points of interest, particularly related to stage and theatre. There must have been something in the Hereford air a few centuries ago to produce some of the classic personalities of the English theatre. Sandwiched between the Raven Hotel and a small shop stands a tiny house, and over the door a blue plaque. David Garrick, the great actor of the 18th century, once lived here. This is where Sarah Siddons, the famous actress, spent much of her youth, probably rehearsing her stage parts to the enjoyment of the neighbors. Across the cathedral way, another plaque tells us that none other than Nell Gwynn was born here. We visited Hereford at the time of the Three Counties Agricultural Show. The weather was perfect, and all the townspeople and farmers and many visitors from all over the country and from abroad flocked to the fair. These agricultural shows are a reminder that Britain is one of the biggest exporters of agricultural machinery and livestock. Here is all that is latest and newest in mechanized agriculture. Some of the exhibits are baffling, and not everyone can afford a new tractor. But there are always the small stalls where you may pick up the odd bargain. Even if you don't want to buy, looking at the things you would like costs nothing. As at all agricultural shows, the greater part of the crowd lines the rails of the main arena to watch the many competitions and weigh up in their own minds the performance of horse and rider, whatever the rules of the British Show Jumping Association might be. One gets a real perspective of what is best in Britain at these agricultural shows. The whole scene is colourful, wholesome and national in character, and the keen interest displayed by young and old alike, and persons rich or poor, is so apparent that the one exception merely serves to emphasize the point. Herefordshire is renowned for its beef cattle, and small wonder that the judging ring during the first morning of the show is packed with spectators. These animals are not only the pride and joy of the county, but their fame is worldwide. Experts from abroad who have come to see something of our farming and stock breeding, as well as the locals, examine these beasts with as keen an eye as the judges responsible for selecting the champion. The interest shown here seems to reflect the government policy of encouraging the production of more beef. And with this policy has naturally come a considerable increase in the number of beef bulls of the Hereford breed. As a matter of fact, the Hereford has become so popular a breed that it has even invaded Scotland, the traditional home of beef cattle, such as the Shorthorn and the Aberdeen Angus. Each year, a sale of Hereford pedigree bulls takes place in the cattle market at Hereford. During January, at the first spring show and sale, Buyers from near and far braved the English winter to cast a critical eye over these first-class animals. Cattle buyers from the Oxo Company made a special journey to select young bulls for shipment to the company's ranches in the Argentine. Bulls who, on reaching maturity, will strengthen the herds roaming the South American plains, and so maintain the quality of the popular Oxo beef cube. Three bulls of top quality were bought from 3 different breeders, and a pretty high price had to be paid for them, for competition to obtain the best is fierce. Today, American ranchers are bidding to the limit for the best pedigree Herefords in an effort to infuse their own herds with new blood, and so stem the menace of midget cattle caused by inbreeding. One of the animals who will ensure continuity of quality for one of the Oxo ranches in the Argentine is the bull Focal Opelson. In quality, size, and smoothness, the Hereford is second to none, and a living tribute to the intelligent work of the farmers and stock breeders of the fertile valleys of Hereford. Look at that broad forehead, those powerful-looking horns, those full and prominent eyes, and that broad muzzle. Clearly, this bull has the outstanding characteristics of the breed, and its innate hardiness and reserve of strength will be of inestimable value in keeping up the high standards of the Oxo herds overseas. Here comes the second of the fine bulls, who will soon be the father of countless sons and daughters on the Oxo ranches. His name is Haven Brigadier, and he has a pedigree which reads like the history of a princely family, leading him as one of the most successful breeders in the county of Hereford. You can imagine what a fine-looking bull he'll be when he reaches full maturity. It's one of the characteristics of the Hereford that they mature off grass very early in life and continue to grow and do well on the minimum of food during the winter period. Haven Brigadier is related to the bull Haven Lion, who was awarded the supreme championship at the Three Counties Show. There's not much doubt about the quality of this animal. When bulls are in the prize-winning and championship class, it needs a person with vast experience of cattle to judge their potential qualities. The expert looks for certain telltale points. A straight top line, which means the distance from the neck to the hindquarters. The head must be typical of the breed and show plenty of white face, broad and strong, with a fleshy muzzle, or nose if you'd rather call it that. The color of the Hereford, red with white face and white markings, has been constant for the last 80 years. When you cross an open field and see one of these bulls, there's not much to worry about, because they're good-natured and docile, in spite of their tremendous strength and size. This is the third and last of the trio of bulls bought for the Oxo ranches abroad. Another aristocrat. His name is Shucknall Jester, and he's about 3 months older than Haven Brigadier. Incidentally, the farmhouse in the background is the home of the breeder who was at one time president of the Hereford Herd Book Society, first published in 1846. Shucknall Jester is a big bull for his age, only 16 months, and the son of another champion, Shucknall Fearless. In the opinion of experts, he's described as an ideal stock bull. Standing on 4 good legs, he has great depth and quality, together with beautiful color and markings. He is a bull who has inherited all the characteristics of his breed, which have made him a prize winner in his own right. The 3 farmers who raised these Hereford prize bulls are the starting point in a chain which stretches across thousands of miles of ocean to the land where cattle grow fat and beef is a primary business. In order to build up and to maintain the high quality of the herds on the vast cattle ranges belonging to Oxo, their expert buyers bid successfully against rivals from all parts of the world to buy the best of the breed. Great Britain is often described as the stud farm of the world, and as the fame of her cattle has spread to other countries, so has the fame of the Hereford increased. OXO's reputation is based on the constant quality of the company's products, and for OXO, nothing but the best will do. The better the breed, the better the beef. That has been the axiom and guide for British cattle breeders. The better the beef, the better the cube. That has been the axiom and guide for the manufacturers of OXO. That they have both reached the peak of achievement in their professions has been proven over and over again by the renown of the Hereford pedigree bull and by the popularity of OXO.